Today we are going to start the chapter haloalkanes and haloarenes. Before I start the chapter, let me walk you through how to access the revision notes and the test series in our website. If you go to play6.com and click on practice, we are having different packages available here. Since we are discussing about NEET Premium, let us go to NEET Premium, and at the top you have the revision notes. If you click on revision notes, it opens into a new tab which is a precise note of all the chapters uh, for the subjects, that is your physics, chemistry and biology. And if you click here, there are you are having questions from different chapters for different subject. For each subject you are having n number of tests, and you are having one NEET full test which will be having two sections. One, the test series are prepared by Play6 Tutor, and the other section contains past papers. So now let us enter into the chapter haloalkanes and haloarenes. So when we talk about haloalkanes and haloarenes, the halogen derivatives of your aliphatic and aromatic hydrocarbons, we are given a name as haloalkanes and haloarenes. So when we say haloalkanes, what is haloalkanes? When I say about your haloalkanes, it is the compound which is going to contain halogen attached to, or halogen atom which is being attached to sp3 hybridized carbon atom of an alkyl group. sp3 hybridized atom of an alkyl group. And haloarenes are the compounds which is containing halogen atom attached to the sp2 hybridized carbon atom, to your sp2 hybridized carbon atom. And we can have the on the basis of your number of halogen atoms, on the basis of the number of halogen atoms being attached, we are classifying the your haloalkanes and haloarenes into different categories. That is, we can say, depending on the number of halogen atom present in haloalkanes and haloarenes, they are basically classified into three. That is mono, which will be having one atom, di, two atoms, or polyhalogen, or we can say it as tri, tetra, etc. So when we say monohaloalkane, for example, if we can say it as C2H5, and you can attach it to any halogen, C2H5X. In the same way, if we are talking about di, we can say it as CH2X and CH2X. So similarly, you can have your tri. In the same way, we are having monohaloarenes. So when we say monohaloarenes, of course we are going to have a benzene ring, and to your benzene ring you will have an attached halogen. The same way you can have for di, we have for tri. So there are different classification of your halogens and haloalkanes and haloarenes based on the number of halogen atoms. And we are having different categories of your haloalkanes and haloarenes on the basis of your compounds that can contain sp3. So alkyl halide or haloalkanes, if we say, they are going to create a homologous series, as we know, CnH2n plus 1, your X, and that we are having it as primary, secondary and your tertiary. Or we are even having different compounds like your allylic halide, benzylic halides, etc. But we have to discuss about what are all the methods of preparation of your alkyl halide. Methods of preparation of your haloalkanes and our haloarenes. So when we say method of preparation of haloalkanes, the first method which comes in our mind is by halogenation of alkane in the presence of light, catalyst or heat. By halogenation of alkanes in the presence of light, catalyst or heat. For example, we can say it as C2H6 plus your Cl2. H mu will give you C2H5Cl plus your HCl. Hence, we are getting a product that is your chloroethane. We get a product, your chloroethane. Second method, we can say not only alkanes but even by halogenation of alkenes, we can prepare your alkyl halide. By halogenation of alkenes, we can prepare your alkyl halide. The third method, we can say that we can prepare halogens from alcohol. For example, we can say ethanol, that is your CH3, CH2, OH plus HCl will give you CH3, CH2, Cl plus H2O. That is in presence of your ZnCl2. ZnCl2, that is your chloroethane. So there are different methods which is being used in order to prepare your alkyl halide. And the same way we can have different methods of preparation of your aryl halides. Aryl halide. So we can say your nuclear halogenation. This method can be used to prepare aryl chlorides and bromides. And this is basically done by treatment of your arenes with chlorine or bromine in the absence of sunlight, but in the presence of certain halogen carriers like aluminium chloride. For example, you can say a benzene ring plus your Cl2 will give us, in presence of Fe, it can give us chlorobenzene. It can give us chlorobenzene plus your HCl. So we are having a product as your chlorobenzene, or we can also prepare haloarenes from phenol. If suppose phenol is treated with phosphorus pentachloride, if phenol is treated with phosphorus pentachloride, it can give you chlorobenzene, hydrochloric acid and phosphoryl chloride. Chlorobenzene, hydrochloric acid and your phosphoryl chloride. We can also prepare from your Raiching process where benzene is treated with hydrochloric acid in presence of copper chloride. Copper 2 chloride, once again it gives us chlorobenzene. And very famous reaction in order for the purpose of preparing aryl halide is Sandmeyer reaction, where we all know that diazonium salt are highly reactive compound which is used to prepare arene derivatives. It is very famous method for, or very simple methods for preparing your arene derivatives. That is, diazonium salt is treated with copper chloride, or you can say copper bromide, which will help you in the preparation of haloarenes. And this method of preparation, we call it as Sandmeyer reaction. This method of preparation is called as Sandmeyer reaction. You can also prepare aryl halide with another method that is called as Gutterman reaction, where haloarenes can be prepared by reaction of your benzene diazonium chloride with copper powder in the presence of corresponding halogen acid, and that reaction you call it as Gutterman reaction. So there are different methods for preparation of your aryl halides. And next, when we talk about the physical properties of your alkanes, it is a well-known fact that alkyl halides are colorless in pure state, but bromides and iodides They gain color whenever they are exposed to light. And volatile halogen compounds, they are having sweet smell. And of course, intermolecular force of attraction of your halogen derivatives are basically strong due to greater polarity and molecular mass as well as compared to their parent hydrocarbon, which will result in higher boiling point of your chlorides, bromides and iodides when we compare to hydrocarbons. And the boiling point of your alkyl halide, or same if we say the order is in this way: iodine, bromine, chlorine, fluorine, and this is their boiling point. And when we are talking about certain reaction, are we are having different reaction in your haloalkanes. The most famous is your substitution reaction in your haloalkanes, and this is the base for understanding that nucleophilic substitution reaction are most common reaction of your alkyl halide. And the most common nucleophiles which we discuss is your OH minus, CN minus, NO2 minus, SH minus, and so on, NH2 minus. So there are nucleophilic substitution reaction actually takes place in two ways, and that one we call it as your SN1 reaction or your SN2 reaction. SN1 reaction and your SN2 reaction. So what is SN1 and what is SN2 reaction? When we say SN1 reaction, it is a substitution nucleophilic unimolecular reaction. Unimolecular reaction. So when we say SN1 reaction, what does S stands for? N and 1. S stands for your substitution and N is for nucleophilic. And what is the most important factor is 1. What does 1 stands here? When we say once here, SN1, substitution nucleophilic unimolecular reaction, and basically we should understand that it is a two-step reaction. In the first step, the carbon halogen bond will actually break heterolytically with the halogen, retaining the previously shared pair of electron. And in the second step, nucleophilic will react rapidly with carbocation that was formed in the first step. So this reaction is carried out in polar protic solvent. For example, we can take it as water, alcohol, acetic acid, and this reaction will basically follow the order as your first order kinetics. That is why we say it as your substitution nucleophilic unimolecular. So basically when we talk about SN1, it is a two-step reaction, but the bond between your carbon and halogen will break because of the presence of a nucleophile, and you will have a carbocation formation. So the rate of the reaction will actually depend only on the haloalkane but not on the nucleophile. That is why we say it as unimolecular, or rate determining step is unimolecular, because the rate of the reaction is going to depend only on haloalkane, not on the nucleophile. The nucleophile will attack the carbocation atom which is being formed in the step, and that will help in the formation of your new compounds. But what happens with your SN2 reaction is this reaction follows second order kinetics, and the rate of the reaction will totally depend upon both haloalkane as well as participating nucleophile. And this reaction we call it as substitution nucleophilic bimolecular reaction. Substitution nucleophilic bimolecular reaction. And in this reaction, the nucleophile will attack the positively charged carbon and the halogen will leave the group. So it is a one-step reaction. Both your formation of carbocation and exciting of your halogen will take place simultaneously. In this, like your SN1 mechanism, the inversion of configuration, we feel it. So the reaction requires the approach of nucleophile to the carbon bearing the leaving group, and they will have a, so when we say as your SN2, it is your opposite to SN1, and this is basically favored by primary carbon, secondary, and then tertiary. So totally nucleophilic substitution reaction is going to depend upon, there are certain factors on which our substitution reaction will depend. What are all the factors affecting your SN1 and SN2? So yes, of course, we can consider the effect of solvent. You can consider the structure of the substrate. You can consider the effect of nucleophile as well as the leaving group. So all these four criteria, that is your effect of solvent, structure of the substrate, nucleophile, and the leaving group, will play a major role in determining the SN1 and SN2 reaction. And the solvent in which the nucleophile substitution reaction is being carried out will also have an influence on whether SN1 or it will be SN2. So it is a well-known fact that your SN1 and SN2 is the most important part of this chapter. So when we try to analyze your SN1 reaction, so we could come to a conclusion that more stable will be the carbocation, intermediate, faster will be your SN1 mechanism. And yes, of course, your polar solvent will lead to polar transition. And the SN2, in SN2 reaction, the stereochemistry around carbon atom of your substrate will actually undergo inversion. And this is also known as Haldane inversion. So the rate of reaction is totally going to depend upon the steric bulk of your alkyl group. It will totally depend upon the steric bulk of your alkyl group. And SN1 and SN2 reaction, the alkyl is secondary and your tertiary. The solvent can be protic or aprotic, and then to stabilize the intermediate stage, the reaction will actually take place. And the next important part of your chapter or important concept to be learned from this chapter is elimination reaction. The reaction is going to involve the loss of two atoms or group from the substrate as their byproduct and with the formation of your pi bond. So we say that it is called as your elimination reaction. And elimination reaction is classified into two types as your E1 and E2. When we say E1 reaction, immediately we say that it is a unimolecular reaction, and of course the rate determining step is going to consist of formation of carbocation intermediate, and stability of carbocation intermediate will determine the reactivity of your E1 reaction. So order of your reactivity for E1 reaction, if we say, it will be tertiary, secondary, and then primary. So both elimination as well as your substitution reaction is going to involve the use of your same reactive intermediate. Therefore, we could conclude that both the product are formed in comparable amount, that is in your substitution as well as in your elimination. And of course, when we talk about your E2 reaction, it is a bimolecular reaction, and it is a single step reaction whose rate is totally going to depend on the concentration of your base and substrate. Reactivity is totally going to depend on both the strength of base as well as the nature of the alkyl halide. And it's also important that both is going to determine the speed of the reaction. And when we say that what are all the conditions it is going to favor the E2 reaction, of course, the alkyl halide we are using, the leaving group which is being used, the solvent, and your, so whatever is going to favor the SN2 reaction, that will favor the same conditions will favor the E2 reaction also. And one rule is very important in this chapter. It is called as Hetzepp rule, according to which the, although your alkene synthesis is going to lead to the formation of more than one product, but we could say that which is the major and which is the minor. So the more substituted alkene will be considered as the major product. In whichever you are having more substitution, that particular product you can consider it to be as the major product. And what is organometallic compound? What is organometallic compound? So basically most of your organic chlorides and your iodides, most of the organic chlorides and iodides will react with certain metals to give compounds, and that is containing carbon metal bonds. Hence, that particular compounds are given a name as organometallic compound. And if we talk about the chemical properties of your organometallic compounds, it will of course undergo nucleophilic substitution reaction, elimination reaction, and it will react with the metals. It will have the tendency of reacting with the metals. And polyhalogen compounds is nothing but your, you can consider few examples to be your polyhalogen compounds, that is dichloromethane, which can also be called as your methylene chloride. Methylene chloride. Dichloromethane, we can say it as methylene chlorides, and it is being used as a solvent, or it can be used for paint remover. It is being used in propellant in aerosols, or it can be also used in metal cleaning. We can even have your polyhalogen compound as your trichloromethane. Trichloromethane, the common name which we all know, it is chloroform. And chloroform is a sweet smelling, heavy and colorless liquid. And basically it is insoluble in water, but it is soluble in organic solvent. If it is inhaled, it causes unconsciousness. If it is being inhaled, it can cause unconsciousness. We are also having a compound that is triiodomethane, which can also say it as your iodoform. And this is basically used as an antiseptic because of the liberation of free iodine, and it is not because of the iodoform being present. But due to, because of its offensive smell, it was replaced by some other solution which will contain your iodine. We are also having your polyhalogen compound we can consider as tetrachloromethane, or what we call it as carbon tetrachloride, CCl4, which is being used in manufacturing the refrigerant and propellant for aerosol cans. They are used for the synthesis of your chlorofluorocarbons or pharmaceuticals, etc. So this is what we are having, concepts based on haloalkanes and haloarenes. I repeat, the most important part of your chapter is your SN1 reaction, SN2 reaction, and the two types of your elimination reaction, that is your E1 and E2. So do focus on it, and based on our analysis, let us try taking a test. And of course, the points to remember from this chapter, we can consider that the reactivity order of your halogen acid, bond strength of haloalkanes will decrease, the size of your halogen atom increases. Grignard reagent is never isolated in solid state, as it is exposed in, it will explode in your dry state. That is why it is being used as an ethanol solutions. And of course, your alkyl halide or haloalkanes are being classified into three types, that is your primary, secondary, and tertiary. And this is totally going to depend upon the nature of carbon to which the halogen is being attached. SN1, unimolecular nucleophilic reaction. SN2, bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. And yes, the chlorofluorocarbon, that is the compound of methane and ethane, the term it is being used is called as freons. And DDT, it is the first chlorinated organic insecticides, and its stability and fat solubility is basically a problem. And the atom or group of atom which will lose its bond to carbon and takes on an addition pair of electron, that is what we call it as leaving group halide. And chloroethane is unable to form hydrogen bond, because of which it is unable to form hydrogen bond with water. That is why it is considered as insoluble in water. And based on this concept, let us try taking a test from this chapter. Hence, if you go to the subject chemistry, you are having chapter wise test here, and for each chapter you are having different number of tests, and the tests are being prepared based on the importance of the chapter. And if you look at the bubble, each bubble represents a test. Green bubble indicates that the test is already completed. Yellow, it is in progress. Blue, it is yet to be taken. And R is a random test if you need any additional practice from the same chapter. But green color does not mean that you should not take the test. You can take the test n number of times unless and until you are getting all the questions to be correct and you are confident of yourself in that particular chapter. So when we take a test from your halogens, so the correct decreasing order of your vapor phase dipole moment of CH3X, what we are supposed to have the order. We all know the order as, though their electronegativity of your halogens will follow the order as your F greater than your Cl greater than your Br greater than your I. The dipole moment of F is actually, so when we say the order is, of course, we all know it is F greater than Cl, Br and your iodine. But the dipole moment of F is less than that of chlorine because of small size of your F atom, which is going to suffer repulsion than that of your chlorine atom. Hence, you could say the order given here as Cl, F, Br and I. Option C should be the right option. So let us save that and go to next. The reaction RCl or RONA plus NaCl. The reaction is catalyzed by the addition of small amount of NaI. We should remember that electronegativity of halogen, as we told you, that this is the order. So from here we could conclude that iodine is the least electronegative, and hence it will be a very good leaving group, and also it is a very good nucleophile. Hence we could say that iodine ion is both better nucleophile as well as your good leaving group. Hence the reaction is catalyzed by addition of your small amount of NaI. Let us save that and go to next. So here they are saying RL and RX. L is a good leaving group and the rate of the reaction is maximum when Li. Once again, if I among the given option, if it is iodine, which is a very good leaving group, and the bond between your Li and I will be very weak, and it would be very simple and easy to break the bond between your Li and I compared to the other given option. Hence, the rate of the reaction will be maximum when X is being replaced by your I. So, option D should be right. Let us save that and go to next. Refer which of the following is correct decreasing order for rate of the reaction: isopropyl, neopentyl, methyl, alkyl, aryl. So it is a known fact that the order of your reaction, that is steric factor, is being important in case of deciding the SN2 substitution. But electronic factor will also play an important role in order to decide the reactivity of your aryl, alkyl, or your isopropyl. So whichever we say, hence you can say that order of your reactivity will go as your aryl greater than your allyl greater than methyl, isopropyl, and neopentyl. So hence this is the order of reactivity. Hence we could say that option aryl, allyl, methyl, iso B should be the right answer. Let us save that and go to next. Bromocyclopentane, when it is reacting in presence of a base. So which of the following is correct order of decreasing rate of your various bases? What should be the different base? So when we know that it is the order of rate of elimination will always decrease with a decrease in their basicity. Hence the order of your RO, OH minus, CN minus, CO. This order is actually the rate of elimination because it will decrease with the decrease in your basicity. Hence option D is right. Save that and go to next. In which of the following pair one species is incorrectly indicated, and which would give higher substitution and elimination ratio when it is reacting with the base? So when we say it is reacting, once again the same fact, greater the basicity, higher will be the elimination and substitution, and greater again their nucleophilicity, that means higher substitution or elimination. So if we talk about this, only the option are this one is incorrectly matched. Hence the option C should be the right option. And save that and go to next. The predominant product formed when 3-methyl-2-pentene reacts with HOCl. What is the predominant? As we told you, sets up rule, whichever is having the most carbon, so addition will take place according to the Marconi's rule, in which goes to that carbon which is more hydrogenated. Hence we could say that the option A will be the right one, and we could say your option A. This is just a substitution reaction based on your Marconi's rule. Save that and go to next. When it is reacting with TSCl and your pyridine in presence of your lithium aluminium hydride. So once again, from the given option, what should be the product of your B? The product formed will be as this one. So you can save it. It's a reaction which is available, and based on the product, we can say that option C will be the correct one. Let us save that and go to next. This is just an order of your log rate. It is just an known fact which of the following is going to represent the correct graph. So when we are talking about the correct graph of the log rate, we have to remember that your SN2 rate of the SN2 reaction is going to be inversely proportional, or it is directly proportional to 1 by spread crowding near to the reaction. It is 1 by steric crowding to the near reaction. Hence, if we look at, it should be inversely proportional. That means from the given option, it should decrease. But look at your second option, it is going to be straight line. It is increasing and this is having a change. So yes, of course, the option A should be right because this alone is in decreasing order and which will give you the inversely proportional condition satisfied. Hence option A should be correct. Let us save that and go to next. We have to predict the product, what is being produced when your allyl alcohol is reacting with presence of your excess of your HBr. So when it is reacting with your excess of, as I told you, Zetsep rule, whichever addition of your HBr to alcohol will actually give you two products, that is your 1 propanol and that is 3 bromo 1 propanol and your 2 bromo 1 propanol. So whichever is being in major product here will be your CH2 Br CH2 CH2OH. Apply the Zetsep rule and this will give you an answer as your CH2Br CH2CH2OH. That is 3 bromo 1 propanol. 3 bromo 1 propanol. So our option A should be the correct option. Let us save that and go to next. Once again, look at the reaction and we have to guess the, we have to give the product. So when we are looking at the reaction and think about the product, immediately we have to understand that BRS, if it is being attached based on its position, it will be acting as a good leaving group and your poor leaving group. So when Br is attached at this position, you consider that it is a poor leaving group, and when the Br is attached at this position, we consider it as a weak leaving, good leaving group. Hence from that we could say that option A is the correct product. It will be because wherever it is a good leaving group, it will get removed and the product, the other reactant will get attached. So ammonia should come in the place of your A. Hence answer A should be the right one. Let us say that. Which of the following is most reactive towards SN2 reaction? Most reactive towards SN2 reaction, when we say, the same rule will apply that as there is an increase in polarity of your ion pair attack of the nucleophile, then there will be an increase in the rate of the reaction. So there will be an increase in the rate of the reaction. So when we look at the option D should be the right option. Let us save that and go to next. Allyl chloride on dehydrochlorination will give. Allyl chloride on dehydrochlorination will give a product that is nothing but your propadiene. If the product formed on allyl chloride on dehydrochlorination will give you a product that is called as your propadiene. Let us save that and go to next. So these are all just a chemical reaction and you have to focus the concept how the product is being formed. So at higher temperature, iodoform reaction is given by, at higher temperature, your iodoform reaction will be given by CH3CO CH3, because we have to know about your iodoform reaction. What does it mean? What is iodoform reaction? So when we say iodoform reaction, it says that a chemical reaction actually in which you will get your methyl ketone is being oxidized to a carboxylate by the reaction of your HO minus and I2 minus. So the product it will be forming is your So when we say iodoform test also is being used to check the presence of your methyl ketone, hence our option CH3CO CH3 should be right. Let us save that and go to next. So which of the following are correct order of nucleophilicity in MEOH? Nucleophilicity in your MEOH. So when we talk about your nucleophilicity, we have to understand that ETO is more, ethyl oxide is more nucleophile than your OH minus. Hence, immediately C it will become as your CH3O minus will be more highly resonance stabilized compared to the structure. So it will be more highly stabilized compared to the structure. Hence, we could say that our option D option is actually correct order. Hence, let us mark our option D. Save that. And by this, we have completed all the 15 questions. Let us see which are all the right questions and your wrong ones. If we click and test, so we have done all the 15 questions to be right. But in case if we are gone wrong anywhere, the color will be indicated as red. And if you leave any question unattempted, it is yellow in color. And but it's more important to know that if you click on any question, it will give you the right answer as well as an explanation to reach that particular right answer. Hence, it's very helpful to know right answer with an explanation if we are gone wrong anywhere. So it is very important to take that test, and you could also do a revision of the chapter in a lesser time with the help of the precise notes. That's all we have for today. But in case if you have any doubts, you can post your questions with the help of the ask feature which is available here, or you can also reach out to us with the help of Telegram chat application. But in case if you need any additional help on any chapter for any subject, that is your physics, chemistry, or biology, you can reach out to Play 6 Management for one-to-one tutoring and get your doubts cleared. Thank you, students. We'll catch you up again tomorrow with a new chapter.